to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sophia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Good morning, Bryan.
Why you hesitate like that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. What I was gonna say the 305 or something, man. What's up?
Yes. One day.
Nah. 757 till I die. You did?
Yeah.
757.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing good. I can't complain, man. It's Friday, our typical recording day, and it's nice outside.
It's been nice all week. Yesterday was on the hot side, but it's been nice all week.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot today too. It's gonna be like 90 today. So, yeah. But I like this time of the year, man. I like April, like the spring. I feel like the pollen has kind of subsided a little bit. It's not as much as it was when March kind of came rolling around.
Man,
So I
have a white car, and my car was yellow every day. Every day.
Yeah, man. I just remember, just like you said, seeing it on the vehicles and just being a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like last 2 weeks or so, I've seen on the vehicles, it's not as much as I've seen beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely excited about that. Because that's the only part of this season I don't like is really that pollen, man. Pollen is can be a beast. It really can.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. So it's been 2 weeks since we've seen you guys. Actually. Even though we've been kind of posting them weekly, this is the first time that we've recorded in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Right.
we're here.
Yeah. Are you good? Sounds good? Okay. Yeah, I'll just check in. Make sure the sound looks good. Because normally
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, you talk loud anyway, so.
Whatever. Whatever.
It's the truth.
But now, what's been going on with you, though? Like I said, it's been about 2 weeks since we last recorded, so it's been a lot going on.
Yeah, so obviously we had Easter.
Yep.
So that Sunday, I think we actually talked about it a little bit on the last podcast. That was actually, I think, the weekend that we recorded.
Yeah.
Was that Friday?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had the Easter egg hunt, which was pretty cool. So went to my friend's house, and she had basically an Easter egg hunt for everybody. Okay. So at first they started off with 5
too?
and younger.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So at first they started off with 5 and younger. They kind of made that a little bit easier. So the eggs were literally just in the grass. They just had to go and, walk.
Yeah.
Then they did them for like the middle-aged kids from like 5 to like 10. And they got to go out there. And then they did like middle schoolers, the older kids, like 11 to like, I think it went up to like 17. And then if you were 17 or 18, because you were kind of an adult, you could actually choose if you wanted to do it with the adults or if you wanted to do it with the kids. But then we got to the adults, and she hid like liquor bottles. So it was like little shots.
That's a good touch. Yeah.
It was big wine bottles, money in the eggs. So it was like, it enticed people to actually want to do it because you could win, either alcohol or money, basically.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. We had a good time, and then that following weekend was her daughter's birthday. So I actually took Maya driving for like 45 minutes, and let me tell you, beware. So all the drivers out there, right now she's driving on the opposite side of the road. I'm like, girl, we are not in another country. Get over.
Oh, wow.
But we're practicing, and so we went to my youngest daughter's friend's birthday party, and we get there, and on my way, I texted Mom like, hey, I'm on my way. I was like, you need anything? She was like, I need to still decorate the cake. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can put some candles on the cake, not a problem.
Yeah.
I get there, she had a blank canvas, and she bought all the things to put the cake together.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay.
But let me just tell you, I came through because that cake was beautiful. We did like a panda cake. So basically it was a white cake, and then she had like these coconut straw things, and it looked like bamboo around the cake.
Okay.
And we had it like all different sizes.
Okay.
And then she bought like these pandas and these plants and these candles, and we just pretty much put it all together. It ended up being really, really nice.
Oh, that's good.
To the point where people was like, "Where you got this cake from?" And
we were all they was asking like, "Where you got it from?" That's what's up.
It was nice. It was nice. Me and her best friend did it. So that was cool. We sang happy birthday or whatever, and then because it was spring break, and really there was no real school going on. A lot of the sport activities were canceled, so we didn't really have much going on. It was kind of just like chill. But then shortly after the birthday party, Jada started to feel ill, and she was actually sick all the way up until this past Wednesday.
Okay.
So she actually went back to school for the first time yesterday.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, I haven't really done anything. I mean, we had the Orthodox Easter too.
Okay.
That's the Sunday after the American Easter.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I remember doing. I mean, I tried to chill as much as possible. I was not trying to do much.
I hear you.
Because I'm always busy.
Nah, I hear you on that one. Yeah, me, that same weekend, so Easter weekend, is also my daughter's birthday, which was that Monday. So the Monday, Easter was the 9th, and my daughter's birthday was the 10th. So that Saturday, we had a birthday party for her. She goes to this gymnastics studio that she just loves gymnastics, but she goes every Wednesday. So they hosted her birthday party that Saturday. And so that was cool. I mean, it was really, really good. I mean, she was able to have some of her friends who don't do the gymnastics with her be in her element. She was very comfortable. She was showing them things, and they have it set up where they were able to do, like a whole bunch of different activities or whatnot. So
my daughter used to go to that gymnastics gym too.
Okay, yeah.
Both of them actually.
Oh, word. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. It's nice, man. They she's been going for over a year now. I mean, she loves it.
It's
so.
Cool. It's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls in there in the larger side of the gym. I mean, they're like almost pre-Olympic.
Yeah, they're not. They were there
really
practicing
good.
On Saturday when we was there. And I caught myself looking at them because they were doing the flips on the beams and stuff. I was like, dang, like they look legit. Like I remember growing up watching Dominique Dawes and them. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. So yeah, they were. So that was cool. That was her birthday on Saturday. Her birthday was Monday, but we celebrated on Saturday. Then Sunday was Easter. So I went to my parents' church, which was pretty cool as well. We haven't visited there in a while, so it was pretty cool to kind of go there.
Did you see a lot of old faces?
Yeah. My parents go to a very small church, so everybody knows each other. There's probably about 30 people that go to the church. So it's a very, very small church. So everybody knows each other very, very well. They knew me. They know I'm Billy and Alfreda's son, and so it was cool. The kids, they were just dancing and acting up though. You know what I mean? They was towards the end they were like, I'm hungry. So you know how that can go when you're sitting down. They like to be moving. So when you're sitting down for a long time, they like, nah, we gotta shake. Gotta get up and shake. So yeah, that was that.
Speaking of shaking, last night we were at my daughter's game, and I brought snacks. I came prepared. I had crackers. I had fruit cups. I had orange juice, little bottles. I had beef sticks, all this stuff.
Word. Okay.
Because I'm like, okay, when we get here, I ain't buying nothing.
Yeah.
Carter get there. He's like, I want some popcorn. So guess what? We got the popcorn, right?
Uh-huh.
But then he spills the popcorn.
Oh, man.
And you know why he spilled it?
Why?
Because he had to move. He was sitting there kicking his feet
and
doing all this stuff, and then it hit the floor, and I was like, well.
Yeah. It's into that. It's into that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Correct. So yeah, they so that was, like I said, that was pretty much my Easter, and her birthday weekend was that the first week. And we ran right into spring break, as you mentioned, for the kids. So we try to do something with the kids every day for the most part. We went to the movies and saw Mario. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, we saw that too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They enjoyed it. Actually, myself, Brooke got on me for a second because I dozed off. Like, I was tired, man. I was really, really tired.
I did that with Jurassic Park.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. It was a hot second. It wasn't like I was like asleep for 10, 15 minutes. It was literally like for like 10 seconds. I was just kind of like watching it. And I was just like, I kind of went back like that. And she was like, you know how it is in the cinema cafe when they got like comfortable chairs. I was just kind of like relaxing. It felt all cold and cool in there. You know what I'm saying? I think we ordered some beer because Brooke and I like to drink beer. So we got some beer. So I was, I'm just feeling nice. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of laid back.
I ordered the Luigi. It was like a Long Island.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, okay. When I was there.
Okay. How was that? How was the Luigi? I don't know if I saw
you
it.
know what a Long Island is.
Sure.
Oh, so you know how in the cinema cafe menu how it trifles, I think?
Yeah.
So it was in the lower. It looked like juice because they had a red one for Mario. They had a green one for Luigi, and then they had another one, but I got the green one, and it was a basically it was a Long Island colored, kind of like what they do on St. Patrick's Day.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I haven't had a Long Island in
man, what? Shoot, back in my early like adulthood, I wouldn't even say college for real, but like 21, 22, like right out of college, like that was the go-to drink.
It was
on a Friday night. Like we would go to Applebee's because they had the real big Long Islands, and they were only like $5. Maybe not even that. I think like during happy hour it was like cheaper than that. It was like
$2-3.
Yeah, $2-3 on certain days or certain times or whatever. So we used to go there and like you drink two of those, and I mean really one sometimes you'd be all right. But
at that age, one, two.
Yeah. So but anyway, we checked out Mario. One day we just went to a park. The other day we went to the beach. I forget already, man. But we did something pretty much every single day during that week, and it was pretty cool. I mean, the kids really enjoyed themselves. We went out to eat one day as well, got ice cream, did all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they were really excited about, how spring break went.
Mm-hmm.
I was also able to mention it on a previous episode of our podcast, that property in Virginia Beach. It's been kind of a thorn on my side. I got it around September, October last year, and I was hoping to keep it as a rental. Then I ended up deciding to sell it, and I thought I was going to try to sell it, top of this year, be done maybe January, maybe February at the latest, but we were under contract like 4 different times with different buyers for various reasons, and they all ended up backing out for various different reasons. But finally, we found someone who really wanted the property, got them under contract, and they closed last week, so that was cool. To kind of get that one off the books for the year, starting off the year. So that was cool. Also, what else did I do during spring break? Last weekend was my mom's birthday, this past one. So her and Sloan kind of have like, back-to-back birthdays, if you say. And so we went out to eat. My aunt, she came in town and surprised my mom, which is pretty cool. So my aunt came in. Her sister's like her best friend, essentially. They're really, really close. And it was funny, my aunt said she kind of like didn't call my mom on her birthday and all that, or just to kind of like
throw her off.
Yeah, throw her off a little bit. And then sort of the surprise was we were going to be at this restaurant that my parents like to go to. And then like we were going to come around, like my dad had rented like the place in the back, like a room in the back, and we were going to like come around the corner when she came and walked in or whatever. So it was pretty cool. She actually started crying. Me and my aunt had like a little bet on like if she was gonna cry or not, and I was like, my mom not gonna cry about that. Like, I mean, it's it's something special, but like, I don't know. I mean, my mom, I don't think she would cry about that. And lo and behold, I guess her sister knew it better than her son, because she definitely
she been around her longer.
Yeah, she definitely started crying, and so I was like, oh man, so it was real nice, man. We had a really good time. The food was good. It was a place called Harper's Table in Suffolk, out in downtown Suffolk, so it was pretty far out there. So we did that. My dad actually surprised my mom and got her a piano, which was really, really nice. My mom's been wanting to play one recently a lot.
Now describe piano.
Describe piano? I mean, he got her like a real, like a grand piano, like a real, like John Legend, like, Chrissy Teigen sitting on the jank, like on that video, like, yeah.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Keys, yeah. He got her a nice one, because she had one. So I want to say, the one that she had at the house, because every time we would go over there, the kids always like to play on it. And that's crazy. It brought it back full circle, because I remember when I was a kid, and my grandparents had a piano at their house, I would always play on it. And then my mom and dad would be like, don't play on it. My grandparents would be like, go ahead, let them play. Go ahead and let them play, or whatever. And so that same piano, if I'm not mistaken, was at my parents' house, because they just kept it over the years. But it's a really, really old piano, obviously. It's just 50, 60 years old. And so what they've done now is my dad, I should say, he bought and surprised my mom with a new one, right? My mom's been kind of picking it up as a hobby lately.
Yep.
And so it was real nice. It was really, real nice. He surprised her with that. We went back to the house, let my mom play some songs, kind of chill, talk for a little bit.
She could play?
She could play, yeah. When I say she can play, like, she knows how to play
keys, but
she knows how to play the piano. She knows what the keys are. She knows, what they do. She can play like songs that she studied and know or whatever. So she can do that. I mean, she's not like going to go out there on a performance and do that like that on TV or nothing.
When I was a kid, I didn't have a piano, but I had a what's the
With a keyboard?
Yeah, but it was like piano. So like it was like big. So it was probably, it sat the same height as a piano.
Okay.
But it was box like, and it had 2 levels of keys. So the lower level was the piano level.
Okay.
But then the keys at the top, they made different noises.
Okay.
And then over here, it had a switchboard where you could play beats.
Yep.
And you could play like
you could play
ticks and drums.
Yeah.
And then
that's what my kids got right now.
Yeah, and then
my sister had she had what you're talking about, and she gave it actually to my children because my son, he's actually taking piano lessons right now.
Yeah.
And so that's what he uses. We don't have actual piano at our house, but we have, like you said, I think it's just I call it a keyboard. It's like a big, huge keyboard. It has, like you said, the keys and the different level of keys, and then it has, like you said, the switches where it has like it says like number 1 through whatever, and it has like different like jazz beats, whatever.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
But
so
it was about the size of this table though.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah,
it's pretty big.
You can sit at it. Yeah, so I had one of those. So I only song I learned how to play was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah, that's the first one everybody play.
And Lean on Me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Da 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 da. That's all I know how to play. Right.
Just call on the brother
when you need a
friend.
Because we all need somebody.
I might need to watch that. It's Morgan Freeman. That movie,
I showed Maya that movie.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that's classic, man. That's classic. No, that's what I'm going to do with my children, man. There's principles within those movies, man. That this generation, they need to learn, man.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a lot of movies. I'm being honest with you. Like, my parents obviously put a lot of principles in me and raised me, and I learned a lot.
Yeah, but I mean,
I learned a lot of stuff like from like movies, obviously your friends, like all these other different things you have, man. So yeah, that's
yeah. I put her on Rush Hour.
Oh yeah, that was class. That's my first one I've ever seen at the first movie I can remember that I saw at the movie theater was Rush Hour with my parents. I'm pretty sure I probably seen some type of cartoon movie.
Yeah.
But that was the first one I saw.
Yeah, I put her on all the movies. The only thing that's different between Rush Hour was funny.
Hilarious.
Funny, yes.
Chris Tucker, man. I remember
I put her on Coach Carter.
Oh yeah, Coach Carter's good.
Yep, when she started playing basketball.
Yep,
and she was coming to me talking about, oh, they keep making us run. So I let her watch the movie. She was Coach like,
Carter. Yeah, that's a different level of running right there. Yeah,
the push-ups when he had old boy, and everybody helped him out. Yeah. But that you see, basketball took him off the streets, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's ultimately, what the lesson seems to be. Yeah, like, look, there's another way.
Correct.
You don't have to follow what you see in your neighborhoods and stuff like that. Yeah.
Correct. No, absolutely. But yeah, so yeah, last 2 weeks have been pretty eventful. I mean,
tax day, that was stressful.
Yeah,
I submitted my taxes the day of at like 8 p.m. Before they were due at midnight. Yeah, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I submitted mine a couple weeks ago because I had to do the business returns were due earlier than the personal returns, so I submitted mine, and so my guy Sherman got us right. And I know you used them this time too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so that was cool, and yeah, I mean, like I said, this time of the year is my favorite time. The NBA playoffs have started. We've had some really, really good games.
Isn't the draft is coming up, right?
NFL draft's next week on Thursday. Yeah,
I see all the commercials now. Yeah, they're coming up. So
yeah, I love this time of the year, man. Yeah, the draft, man. I loved see the guys transition on from college or wherever to go play. Play and live out their dream. So that's dope. I love, like I said, the NBA playoffs is going on. I was the Masters. It was a great golf tournament. Came on like a week or so ago. There's a big boxing fight. It comes on tomorrow. I'm eager to watch. So yeah, I love this time of year. Spring has a lot going on.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. And then also, if I didn't mention this before, I'm gonna mention it again.
Uh-oh.
Your girl is a VHDA qualified trainer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's exciting. I'm actually excited about that. I mean, the class wasn't hard or anything like that. It wasn't too expensive either. Mm-hmm. But now I can conduct a class. Yep. So that's actually pretty cool. I just have to find a real estate agent that's also qualified because in order for us to do it together, we both must be qualified. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
That's good. That's real good.
Yeah, that is good. So, that was a eventful past 2 weeks. I mean, we really didn't even mention all the work stuff. So since, the last time we spoke, I think I had a few closings. I know I had more than a few closings this past week or so. You've had closings. Applications are coming in. People are looking to buy.
Text. I'm getting text right now. I got an agent I'm working with. And I reached out to the listing agent last night. That's always a good touch when the offer is put in.
Yep,
so the
same thing happened to me.
Yeah, so the listing agent is texting me right now with a counter. So I'm about to try to ratify a deal right now while we're recording. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. Make this Friday even better. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I just got a ratified contract last night.
I saw that. Yeah, that was a big one too, right? Yes. Nice little prize on that one.
Yep, more than $500,000. So yep. So yeah, that it's important, responding to those late night texts. It lets the listing agent know that we're here, we're active, we're responsive. So it's always good working with certain people. So now, every segment we always like to exercise your knowledge. So what we do is we ask a mortgage related question, and we allow time for you to think on it, dwell on it, and then we reveal that answer later on in the segment. So today's exercise your knowledge question is: if you were to switch jobs while under contract to buy a home, so this means that you have started the process, you've made an offer on someone's house, they have accepted your offer, and then you say, you know what, this job, I want to apply for it right in the middle of all of this. Can it hurt your approval? Yeah. What does it do? What happens?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I know a lot of times people are always trying to further themselves in their career.
Yep.
And so you'd be surprised, we get this a lot, that folks are trying to buy a house. And to me, it would be difficult. I'm going to be honest with you. For me, I don't know if I could I could make it happen, but I don't know if I could buy a house and also be trying to transition in the workplace, especially a brand new job, like somewhere totally different. Because I feel like sometimes, when you're doing a move and then your new job, and that's just a lot of newness that, it really, requires your...
like sometimes when you don't know, it doesn't seem like such a big task, right?
Correct.
Because you know what the process is like buying a house, but a lot of people don't. They're like,
Correct.
Oh, okay, well, it got to be something like renting.
Correct.
But it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different, it's a little back and forth. There's a lot of verifications that are required, a lot of questions that are asked. So you're right, it is different, but that's because you know.
Correct.
You gotta think about the people who don't know.
Correct.
Yeah. But think about that question.
Yeah. Good question. We'll touch on it here in just a little bit.
And we will touch on it, here in a little bit. So today's topic is, and I've had this, I talked to this one buyer at least 3 hours this week.
Uh-oh.
And 3 hours is a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
To talk to someone about buying a home. Usually 30 minutes is kind of like the max. But
at one time, right? You talking about 3 hours straight, or are you talking about?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is 3 hours
throughout
split
the
up.
week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, either way, it's a lot.
Even an hour conversation is a long time. You know what I mean? Like, it is. So, what I wanted to touch on is, and this brings it back to the basics. I mean, we're bringing it back. We're going way back to the beginning. What is the difference between a loan officer and a real estate agent?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get us confused. I even had my daughter's principal call me one time, and she was like, "Hey," she was like, "I know you're working. You're a real estate agent." I was like, "I'm not a real estate agent." And I literally, you have to, on school documents, I believe they ask you what you do for a living. Yeah. It clearly states, it don't say real estate agent, but, it is what it is. But a lot of people do get our jobs confused. So we wanted to kind of like describe to you or give you some of the basic descriptions on what we do. So I'll go ahead and get started with the realtor side, and then you can kind of touch base on the loan officer side, and we can kind of talk about what the difference is, talk about what we do, or what they do. Sorry, because I'm not an agent.
Well, there you go. That's why she called you real estate agent.
Right.
You already talking like you is
I'm
one.
taking ownership of it, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So your real estate agent is the person that is negotiating that purchase agreement, or also known as that sales contract, between you, the buyer, and that seller. Or the real estate agent can represent their seller and negotiate for their seller to a buyer, right? So what they're doing is they're looking at the property. They're running comps. Comps are, information about recent sales within a certain parameter of where that house is located to determine what would be a good sales price. They'll go into the property, they'll walk the home, and that's for your listing agents. But for your buyer agents, they'll go and show you properties. They'll go and take you out to the homes. They'll set you up in a system to where you can look at the homes online. What else would you say that they do?
They negotiate contracts.
They negotiate all the terms of the contract. Yeah. They're like the middleman between you and the seller. Correct. Or you and the opposite person of what you're doing.
Correct.
Right? And so they don't get into the weeds when it comes to your income. They don't know what your income is. They don't know what your credit scores are. They may ask you, what do you believe your credit score is, as far as like fair, good, or great? But they don't really know. It's not something that us as loan officers tell them, because that's your personal information. So they don't really need to know that information. But it is good that they have an idea, because that kind of helps them narrow down what type of properties you qualify for, because sometimes there are restrictions based on loan products that helps the real estate agent do their job.
Correct.
But ultimately, they're the person that's going to be negotiating the sales contract between you, at the client, and the other side of the transaction.
Yeah, the seller. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, either way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. On both sides. I mean, like
both
you said,
sides.
there's I remember initially, it's crazy too. I remember when I first got into mortgage, which is a little over 15 years now. I remember where they were just now introducing the two agent side. It used to be where there was one agent that facilitated both sides of a transaction.
Mm-hmm. It used to be where everybody sat at the closing table too.
That is right. That's right.
And now you don't even know. You never meet the other side of the
transaction. Yeah. So that's funny. And that's why, a lot of real estate agents were getting paid a heck of a lot of money, because just think about the commission that, you're now, basically it's now been split up.
It's always double.
Yeah. So they used to get, on one deal, they would represent the seller and the buyer, and they would get, obviously, most areas is 3%, like in this area is 3% commission that a real estate agent will get. So they would get 6% on every single deal they do, and they would get both sides. So that was pretty profitable, Mm-hmm. But like I said, since then, just for the interest, which I think is a good, it was good that they do that you have one agent represent the seller, one agent represent the buyer, just so you don't want the agent to be, maybe have more interest in the buyer or more interest in the seller, and not necessarily, do things in a fair way, So
correct. Yeah. Correct. So describe our what we do.
Yeah. So I've had our title be named so many different things. Like right now, I'm considered a senior mortgage banker. I've been called an originator, loan originator,
loan officer.
I've been called a home mortgage consultant. The list goes on, right? And it's funny because I know when I was growing up, I never, like the job that I have, I never knew it existed, right? I always knew that there was a real estate agent that helped someone buy a house. I always just thought, hey, you go to the bank and, you inquire about financing to get a loan. Like I didn't know that there was actually a specified position of someone who helps with strictly mortgages.
So that's funny because for me, right, I knew the job existed because I started working in the bank at 18.
Mm-hmm.
19, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at Chase. And there was always a mortgage. Like I worked at a big branch. So my particular location had a financial aid person, a financial advisor. Said financial aid.
Yeah,
financial advisor.
College on your mind. You already thinking about it, right? Yeah.
Financial advisor. My my branch had a business person, um, business banker. I think it was the official name. We had a mortgage lender. I mean, we had everybody pretty much at our branch, which was their home. And so then these particular people would cover different areas, right? Mm-hmm. But the mortgage person, she was always in her office. She did not talk to us. She did not communicate with us. She was an older lady. So I thought that based on what I saw and then like going to some other branches and seeing like some of the other people as I, started to get older, I was like, everybody that do that job, old. Like you must be like in this job forever before you get there.
That point. Yeah. It seemed like it was something that was, like you said, it was a long trajectory to be able to do that. I got you.
Correct. So then, obviously, as I transitioned to Florida, and down there, the mortgage people were younger. And I was like, okay. And we were cool. My financial advisor, she's actually a really good friend. She was Black. She was young. Me and her would go, shoot the shit together. Mm-hmm. We would go out for drinks on lunch, all that good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Then I was like, okay, so there are younger people in these, areas of business. So I knew about it existing. And
gotcha.
Yeah. Then I just later learned that young people could do it too.
Yeah. For me, like I said, I didn't know anything about the position at all. Mm-hmm. I was in college trying to figure out what I wanted to do. After I kind of realized I wasn't going to be able to make it pro in the NFL. So I was trying to figure out like, okay, hey, what's my secondary plan? Because I didn't have any. Like everything was like, everything I did, since I was 5 was to try to make it to the NFL. So it was like I had to kind of sit here and think about what my strengths were as a person. And I figured out, pretty early on, I was really strong in math. So I went to this networking group and I met this woman who actually just started a mortgage company. And so me and her kind of, end up connecting because she was big into sports. She was just graduated from Virginia Tech not too long ago. And so she was telling me that, her and a couple of her colleagues had started up a mortgage company. And so she's like, hey, you should come by the office, one day after you have class or whatever and see what it's about. And I was like, all right, cool. And that was the first time I heard about a mortgage company. So I went and met her, and then she ended up showing me basically everything I know to this day. Like she was my mentor for, majority of my early time in mortgage. But when it comes to a mortgage loan officer or a mortgage banker, whatever you want to call us, our job is to basically secure the financing when it comes to your purchase, right? So we will pull your credit. We will be familiar with the loan programs and products that are available. So we'll be able to have a conversation or a consultation with the prospective buyer to give them understanding on what the requirements are as far as their credit. Explain to them like their debt to income. So explain to them how that works and what that does when it comes to how much you qualify. We'll be able to go over their income. We'll be able to go over like I said, all the different things that are out there, all the programs that are out there available to be able to put you in the best position to succeed when it comes to you buying your home. Mm-hmm. So our job is different, but it's definitely of service, right? I would say both real estate agents and mortgage bankers, we're both there to serve that prospective buyer. So we're there to kind of help them answer any questions they have, really be able to give them insight on what the process looks like, so they know exactly what the steps are. Because when you're buying a house, it's a lot that's going on, but as long as you're informed and understand, it's really not that difficult, But our job when it comes to real estate agent and when it comes to mortgage professional, they're hand in hand, right? Because when you're buying a home, and in most cases, you're going to need financing. So that's our part. We kind of get that process set up and get you ready to go so you know exactly what your budget is. We to be able to tell you, okay, hey, this is what you qualify for. So then now once you're handed off to the real estate agent, you know exactly what your budget is. You're already familiar with the programs, how much things are going to cost. And so you can really just truly focus on what home works for you and your family, if it's your family that you have. So,
correct. Yeah. So basically the difference is we secure financing, they help you find a house. So I get a lot of people who call me and say, "Oh, well, I'm interested in a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, this, and that's outside of my realm." Or they'll say, "Oh, I want to buy in, I don't know, Caratuck, or all these different little neighborhoods." And for me as the lender, especially not living here locally for all my life, I don't know those areas. I just know what you qualify for based on your income and your credit scores. So your real estate agent is the person that's going to know the answers to those questions, like, oh, how, the neighborhood, where it's located, what part of Virginia Beach, the subdivisions and all that stuff. They're the ones that's pretty good at that because they're out in the streets. They're out showing you these properties. We don't show properties at all. We don't even get into the weeds of how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how much. We do look at square footage. I mean, we got to know how big the property is. Correct. But we don't go out and show homes at all. Correct. So last night I was actually on the phone with a buyer, with a buyer's mother, and it was a very interesting conversation.
That was a deep sigh right there.
Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation. Okay. So
I know how it is when parents, normally if we're helping someone who's buying a house and then you're talking to their parents, that normally
so she called me and she said, "Well, I don't think that this house is worth this particular house is worth whatever the purchase price is going to be." And I was like, "Well, I mean, the appraisers determine that." Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she just was like going in. And so then she ended up calling the seller and basically went in on her too. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, because it's a for sale by owner type of thing.
Okay.
But they are using an agent, but the agent is kind of like helping just write the contract. So gotcha. They called me back and the mom was like, "Oh, I thought you were the real estate agent." I was like,
"Oh, for real?"
What would make what would make you think that I was the real estate agent? She was like, "Oh, my daughter, she confused me." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I just do the financing." And she was like, "Oh." So then, we were talking about, what confused me is we were talking about numbers the entire time. Mm-hmm. I never once addressed anything about the property. Yeah. Not one time. And not one time did I answer a question about value, about anything. We were talking about the mortgage payment the whole time. We were talking about the different products. So I didn't understand how you or the person would even come to think that I was a real estate agent because we never once talked about the property. So I thought it was very important for us to kind of touch on this because as the lender, mortgage banker, loan officer, whatever you want to call me, mortgage consultant, I think you said is one of them. Mm-hmm. I will never talk about the property itself. Correct. Besides, if it passed an appraisal or not, if there's some repairs that's needed, I'll tell you about those. But even if the repair is something that I'm not familiar with, it's the agent. It's up to the agent to go out and make sure
I 100% agree. Obviously, I mean we do the same thing. I've had some folks though sometimes, and I try to be very generic in my response, but we help a lot of military folks, right? Mm-hmm. So I have people who are PCS in here, and they don't know the area at all, right? Mm-hmm. So their agent is the one supposed to answer those questions, but just like how I know sometimes the agent may answer just a generic question about something that we do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll have where a buyer will ask like, "Hey, well, how far is this from this? Or is this like, do you know the school districts there? Are those school districts, this, or is that Chesapeake better than Virginia Beach?" Like asking, I'm like, I can't really answer those things. I was like, I live in Chesapeake. I like it. I grew up in Virginia Beach, so, but I will get asked those type of questions.
Yeah, I'll get asked generic questions like, if they're moving from a different state, coming over to Hampton Roads, and I'll talk about traffic going on to the base. I'll talk about little stuff like that. I'll mention, I live in Chesapeake. Mm-hmm. I'll mention, different, like if they ask me a question, depending on, and it's a broad question, I can answer those. I know the difference between, Norfolk and Chesapeake. I
Correct.
know the difference between Virginia Beach and Suffolk. Like, I know that stuff.
Yeah, how's the commute?
But if you ask me specifically something like about College Park,
CP,
I don't know. I mean, I kind of have an idea where College Park is, just because I have a friend right now who lives in that area. But has she not? I think you're from that area, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, just from what you say, I can kind of put it together, piece it together, but I've never been there, you know what I mean, when you were a kid or anything like that. But my friend, she lives there, and I've been in that area going to her home before, but that's a one-off. Yeah. If it's something where, you know, I get a lot of people talk about all these different subdivisions of Virginia Beach. I don't know what they are. I can't even come to tell you anything about Virginia Beach. I barely know about Chesapeake. Yeah. I know a little bit. I don't know anything about South Norfolk, Chesapeake. I know Greenbrier. I know Grassville. I know Hickory. I know nothing about Western Branch or Deep Creek. Yeah. Nothing.
I know it all.
But you grew up here. It's different.
For sure.
It's different. For sure. When you've been somewhere all your life, if you don't know, it's a problem.
Yeah. But you've been here. How long you been here? And you don't know a lot too.
I've been here for.
I met you in 14.
But I left. So when I met you, I was here for probably
a year at least.
Yeah.
About a year, right?
Yeah, I was here for a year.
Yeah.
And then I left, and then I came back. So been here nonstop since basically 2017, because we closed on our house in December of 16.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you got some time under your belt. You got some time under your belt.
6 years, 7 years? Nah.
Hey, if I've been somewhere 6 years, I would kind of at least know some major things.
But I don't go nowhere. I mean, I do know major things. Okay. I know the cities.
Okay.
I know how to get there.
The cities? That's major? Yeah.
That's major.
I hope you do know the cities. Good gosh. I would hope so. Like, I mean, you just driving around, like, just not looking like, or whatever. But
I still use my GPS for everything, so.
Yeah.
There you go. But see, y'all got difficult street names, too. Like.
Difficult street names?
Yes.
How are the street names difficult? It's just same everywhere. Like, everywhere has different street names that are different. I mean, you have a lot of them that are George Washington, Martin Luther King. I mean, we have a lot of basic ones. Gum Road, Volvo.
What is it called? You said Gum Road?
Gum, Gum. Like, there's a street in Chesapeake called Gum Road. I have a property over there.
Y'all got Butts Neck, Buck Station, Butts something.
That's not hard to remember.
Y'all got Damn Neck.
Yeah, that ain't hard to remember. I mean, that's not hard to remember. Like, I think
not hard to remember, but y'all got some pretty weird names, street names. I know I've seen them on contracts.
Okay, you're from Michigan, so like there's no names like that in Michigan. Is that what you're trying to tell me? From where you're from? It's gotta be.
I don't know. I know in my neighborhood, everything's named after like some type of like royal hierarchy or something. It's like Lord, Queen, King.
Yeah, that makes it easy for you to remember.
Prince, all that stuff. But it doesn't help with directions.
Okay.
I think I've had this conversation with you before.
Yeah,
so
you're
like,
a landmark person.
I'm a landmark person, and so one thing I love about South Florida is everything's numbers, right? So if I tell you, hey, meet me on 22nd Avenue and 115th Street, there's no way you can get that confused because all the numbers are all the streets are in order by number.
Yeah.
So here, if you tell me to meet you on Princess Anne and Kempsville, if I don't know where the hell if I don't have an idea what city that's in,
but you do realize like that
I gotta use my GPS.
That's a metropolitan like area. You do realize that though, right? Like there's like the reason it's numbered like that is it can be because everything is like like that. Like it can't be like.
So you
that's
saying
not realistic.
All the streets ain't like that here?
No.
Oh,
no, I don't think that's realistic. Like you got to think about it, for instance, right? Like
maybe it wasn't realistic 20 years ago.
No, I'm saying like
it's bigger now. Like they can.
No, I'm saying like the number of streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's not just in order like this. How it is, like you said on South Beach, where you could just go straight here. Everything's straight. Everything's just perpendicular. Like that's not how it is in a I wouldn't call this area, we're not rural, but just an area that's bigger. Like, I mean, it's more spread out. Like,
Yeah,
you can
but
do
South
that.
Beach, I ain't even talking about South Beach. South Beach is not even that. When I say Miami, I'm not talking about South Beach. You might as well call that the vacation area. I'm talking about Miami. I ain't talking about South Beach.
Yeah, but Miami has, I mean, besides, like, I mean, there's also streets in Miami as well, though. There's a lot of streets. I've been to Miami before.
The only streets that are there are your major streets. So like
Correct.
there's a Biscayne.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's street, so there's street name. I guess what I'm saying is like that area is a lot more condensed, so they can do that. Like here, things are much spread apart, so you can't. I mean, we have main streets. We have Virginia Beach Boulevard. You know, we have Military Highway. I mean, we have probably like
Battlefield.
Yeah, Battlefield. We have like your like 10 major streets like that run through.
That's how Florida is.
But I'm talking about off of those streets though. Like that area is way bigger. Like it's way spread apart than it is in Miami, where things are a lot closer, where you can just number things at boom, 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 boom like that. Like you can't really do that here because things are not. They're not. I mean, all right.
I don't know.
So why is it
hard for visitors to kind of speak on that?
But listen though, why? So when it comes to numbers, street stuff, right? Why does that only happen in metropolitan areas? Because Miami's not the only place that does that, right? They don't do that in Michigan. They don't do that in Kansas. They don't do that in even Texas. Like Texas is big and spread out. They don't do those number streets because it's so spread out that you can't really have that numerical pattern like that, and it really makes sense. But in areas like New York, or maybe Miami, California, those are all areas that have metropolitan areas that have numbered streets. Like it's the same thing in New York.
It could be because of when it was done. Those are older cities too.
Not necessarily.
Like they've been cities for a while.
Virginia, I mean,
y'all just now getting city.
Nah, that ain't true. You
just mentioned Town Center just came to like
that's
10
not
years
a city
ago.
Though. That's an area within a city. Yeah, I mean,
city-like type of environments. It was mostly country here in the beginning.
Correct. Right? I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about just anywhere. Like I mean, Georgia, for instance. Like they don't have numbered streets like that, like how Miami does. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not a. You know, the area is spread out, is not as on top of each other as Miami is, as New York is, as more of a metropolitan area where they can easily, everything is blocked. Mm-hmm. So you can easily, say, hey, this is this street, this is that street, this is that number or whatever. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds like Bryan lived in Florida before.
No, but I've been there. I've been there a lot. Not a lot, but I've been there my share a few times, for sure.
I've lived there for some years. I've lived here for some years, and I feel like I got a little bit more experience, though.
True. But the funny thing is, how long have you lived in Florida? How long did you live in Florida for?
About 4 or 5 years.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Virginia?
Overall, 7.
Okay. And so that's my point. Like, Florida.
Actually, like no. I would say I got to put it another year on Florida because remember I left here and
so still it's this it's the same. Yeah, it's basically the same. It's basically what I'm saying. Yeah. That's my point. My point is that you've lived.
But
it
was
places.
easier. It was easier there than here.
Of course, because everything's a lot closer. That's what I'm saying. Things are a lot closer than Florida. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Now you know the difference between a loan officer and a real estate agent. All right. So earlier in the segment, we asked you guys a question that was more mortgage related. And that question was, if you switch jobs while under contract to purchase a new home, can it hurt your approval? And we are going to reveal that answer. Drum roll. All right. The answer to that question is...
What's the Kid and Play joint you doing? What's that? The Kid and Play joint? What's the answer? You gonna say the answer?
I was waiting on you to say it.
Oh, you were saying it. Oh, I thought you was gonna say it.
I just asked the question.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It will definitely change things. So,
depends on the loan type too, though. It does depend on the loan type when it comes to changing jobs within.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, worst case scenario. Well, let me give you best case scenario. Best case scenario, that happens, then we just need, further documentation. And you could potentially still close on that house. But it can be a headache when you're in the middle of buying a house and now you have to furnish all this new documentation for this new job, right?
Correct.
Sometimes we may ask for the offer letter. We may ask for, another verification of employment directly from the employer. But then in some cases, we may even ask for you to furnish a new pay stub showing that you actually started that job. So really just depending on the product, that's best case scenario. It's not like dire to where it's just the worst thing ever. But given a different product that you're in, the circumstance, I mean, it can change things, and that could potentially push you out to close at a different time. And so when you're in contract, you have to put yourself in the same shoes as like a seller and everybody who's involved in this transaction. Like that one change can change everything. And so you never know, if that seller has already made plans to close on something else, if they already have their what is it, the moving truck and all that stuff scheduled. So if you do something like change your job and that affects the close date, I mean, it can definitely hurt the situation. And then if the seller's not willing to extend your close date, then you can get into a situation where they don't even want to conduct business with you anymore, just based on that breach of contract for yourself. Worst case scenario, you can be denied, because really just depending on the product and depending on how your new job is paying you, that could change things for the worst to where we can't even really move forward. And a good example of that would be, let's say you're a truck driver and you've been driving trucks for the past 5 years, but you've been working for a company that pays you and you get paid weekly. At the end of the year, you receive a W-2, but then you wake up one day and you're like, you know what? I can do this on my own and get paid way more money. Now I'm buying this house, so, I want to make more money. And you decide to become self-employed and switch over to working for yourself. That can change things.
Yeah, that'll kill the deal immediately. Yeah. That'll be into that. I mean,
there are circumstances where it could potentially work if you change, but if it's in the middle of a contract, it'll kill the deal.
Correct. So, yeah. I mean, I mentioned it before. I'll say it again. When you're buying a house, it's a fluid situation, right? Obviously, when you're buying a home. So we're going to pre-approve you based on what's happening at that particular time. Mm-hmm. So that's why we would like for you to, during that time, not to have any type of major changes. And obviously changing the job is a major change, right? So we don't want you to go out and buy anything. We don't want you to change your job, because then we would have to now reevaluate you all over again. Mm-hmm. And that could change the time frame, especially if you already are under contract and you are been approved, and like I said, you put an offer on a home, it's been accepted based on current situation, and then now you're talking about leaving that job and then starting a new job. I mean, that's a big change in circumstance that could delay different time frames. So we definitely recommend, if you're buying a house, I would probably hold off on trying to switch jobs during that time frame. I mean, there are ways that we can work around it. Mainly if you're an employee, you stay an employee and you're just for maybe going to another company that's paying more or whatever, that's cool. But like Sophia just mentioned, if you're, working somewhere and then all of a sudden, you're saying, hey, I want to work for myself, we need to see that has been established and that you're stable in that environment for us to qualify you on that income. Because once you work for yourself, there's not guaranteed income that you have, right? Mm-hmm. You're no longer an employee of someplace. So you have to actually go out and have that business come to you. So we don't have anything to qualify you on, as far as income goes, versus you being an hourly wage or a base salary employee that we have history of you earning income from that company or just in that environment.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. So, every situation, every circumstance is not a one-all, be-all. It's not, the same answer for every individual, but across the board, if you switch jobs during the transaction, it can hurt your approval. Really just depends on how much it can hurt it. It could either be delayed or it can just be a done deal and you can't move forward. So be careful with switching jobs in the middle of a transaction. If it can wait, let it wait, or at least have that conversation with your mortgage banker prior to. So if that's something that comes of interest to you and you see an opportunity, I mean, let us know. Yeah. Have that conversation. Let's talk about it before you make the move, because once that move is made, typically there's no going back.
Correct.
I mean, I have never seen an employer allow somebody to quit the job, start the new one, and then go right back without some type of change being made. Like they can either have you come back and pay you less. I mean, there's so many different things that can happen during that change. So just make sure you have a conversation with us. So upcoming next, what do you have going on? I know we got the event. We got our team event today.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna be late to it because my daughter decided to tell me today that they have team pictures. So I'll be there, but I'll just be on color people time.
Yeah, today. So today we have. I thought it would be a good idea. We typically have events where we do things for others and our peers, but we really haven't gotten together, just a team, ourselves, in a while. So actually at all, I think actually at this point.
This will be our
first time, or like just us four getting together, right? Like us? No, I mean nobody else. I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Outside of like work, I mean we're not doing work related things that we sat down and been on a Zoom call
that's
together.
True. But, that's true.
We haven't actually just went out like got something to eat together.
No, I don't think we have.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. So today we're doing that. I thought it'd be a good idea. It's supposed to be nice. We're gonna go check out that Summit Point area. Just grab some food and some drinks in that area in Chesapeake.
Yep.
So that should be cool.
I'm getting my hair braided tomorrow, y'all. It's always exciting. I don't know how y'all feel when y'all get y'all hair cut, but when a girl get her hair done, it's a different feeling.
I know. Brooke, she's about to get her hair, done or braided or whatever. I could tell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that becomes the focal point. You're like, hold on, wait, I can't do that because I'm getting my hair done.
Yeah, everything's centered around that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm getting mine's braided. I mean, it's gonna be a long time. I'll be sitting there for 9 hours, but it'll be worth it.
I hear you.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
I hear you. So for me, we got the event, or not the event, but just getting up today, this evening. Like I said, tomorrow, my buddy, his birthday was the other day, so he's having a fight party at his house. It's a big boxing fight, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. So it should be an exciting one. So I'm going to be going by his house tomorrow. Check that out. It's always good vibes over his house. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, catch up on...
Well, before we started, I was told that your son has an art show today.
Yes.
That you're going to.
Yes. Thanks for bringing that back up.
Yep.
So today.
Oh, it can't leave out the kids.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, it's both. It's not just Niles. It's Niles and Sloan. They both. It's the school is like their art show is what they're having. Okay. Yeah. So the kids did
that's cute.
Yeah, all the kids did like different things of the arts, and then so today after school we get to go there and check it out and look at all the different things that they've done. So it's pretty cool. It should be fun. I know they were talking about it this morning, so I'm excited to see what that's like.
Yeah, I have a closing today again.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Get that money.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one today at 3. I won't be able to make this one because it was scheduled during a time that's inconvenient for me. But shout out to my buyers. They were awesome.
I'm getting a refinance. I just got a refinance application, which I haven't got one of those in a minute. With where we are, rate wise. I mean, most folks aren't refinancing. So.
I just did one last month.
Yeah. I mean, I know normally it's got to be some type of circumstance, and this one is as well.
Yeah,
so.
My person, her house was paid in full, and so she wanted to just basically take out some money from that property to purchase another one. So I'm actually on both sides. So I did her refinance, and then she's taking that money to buy another one, and I'm helping her buy the triplex. So
it's good.
Yeah, so definitely she's utilizing that equity in that property to purchase more property, and it's very legal to do.
Absolutely. Yep.
Next week I have a short-term rental event. We're doing. We probably have like almost 20 people signed up for it. So basically we'll be talking about different things like that. Like basically if you being a homeowner, if you own, taking out equity to buy something new, purchasing, using investment products, using DSCR products, all these different things that comes with like the investment side. And then I have someone who is active in short-term rentals. So they'll talk about like the different permits that are required. And then I have a person that is a property manager for only short-term rentals, and so all of us have basically put together like this mastermind for you to come out and learn about how to get short-term rental up and started within 90 days. So
That's good.
yeah, we're doing that next week. Laura, she has an event tonight that we'll check out later on. It's at the Virginia Beach Winery. I think it's like karaoke night, so she's going to be going out doing some networking. So of course, you know, we got to support her. Next week it's something in the water. I won't be there because I have my event, but a lot of people are going, so be careful. I think that, you know, Virginia Beach is even closing school down early on Friday because of the anticipated traffic and things that may be going on in Virginia Beach. So makes sense. Be careful if you are there. Yep.
Yeah, that'll definitely be there. Should be a good time. I remember the first year. First year was crazy. First year they had it. This was like 4 years ago. I know it was before the pandemic. So I think 2019. It was a really, really good time, man. I mean, you know, Pharrell, he's the one that puts it on. He's from here. He's from Virginia Beach, and I mean, he had a lot of great people come through and perform. I mean, you know, all Jay-Z, Diddy, Snoop Dogg, Busta Rhymes. I mean, it was Chris Brown. You know, he's from here too. I mean, Timberland came out. Missy Elliott came out. All the folks that I grew up on music-wise, man, was able to come. I know this year Lil Wayne's supposed to be coming.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while. I seen him when I was in college. Was the last time I saw him. So there's a lot of other folks that I want to see that are coming.
I was actually talking to a real estate agent who her day job, she works at the private airport. Okay. So when we were talking, she was like, I work at the airport, but I work in the private side for where the, you know, celebrities would come in at. And I was like, oh. Okay. No, but she was really nice. But now that you're mentioning all that, I'm like, where are these people gonna fly into? You know. So obviously there.
Yeah, I remember when in 2019, I remember because everyone knows me, I'm a big Jay-Z fan. I remember the rumor was that Jay-Z had flew in because it's a weekend event. And it was that Thursday night he had flew in. So the rumor was it was all going on social media, Facebook. So-and-so told me this, that Jay-Z and Beyonce, they just flew in. So, I mean, I don't know. They probably, you know, I know there's different like little, you know, airports, little private ones around here. Yeah. There's actually one not far from my house.
Yeah, so every time, you know, when someone flies in, for the most part, they have to know who it is. I mean, it's still a manifest. They have to know who's on board. I mean, that's just what it is. Government regulations. It don't matter if you're a celebrity or not. They gonna know.
I know. I was just talking about from the perspective of it was pretty cool that you know, I mean, it was just funny like how it just became like a rumor. Like, is it true? Is it not? You know, how everybody gossip spreads or whatever. So.
It sure does.
Yeah.
You remember that game when we were kids? When you had to like sit in a line and then you had to tell, is that what it was called?
Yeah, telephone.
You had to tell a secret, and by the time it got to the end, the whole story changed.
Yeah, it's called telephone.
Were you ever the person that changed the story? I think I did that once.
I can't remember that.
On purpose.
I can't remember that detail. I mean, but you know, sometimes by the time it gets to you, depending upon where you're on that telephone line, it don't even sound right. So you're like, so you know that's not what it was, because when it got to you, it's like at first it starts like, I'm going to the gym at 8 o'clock, right? That's where it started. And by the time it gets to you, let's say you like the 6-7 person on the chain.
At 8 o'clock, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, or no, not even that. Cause that's even, I mean, because that could be what it was, right? But by the time it gets to you, it could be like the words don't even make sense.
At
like
8 o'clock, I'm riding my bike.
The gym, you know, I don't know, open this bakery, this. I'm like, what? Like a bakery at the gym? Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the oh, you have a lunch today too, right?
Yeah, my buddy, Cavell, we grabbing some lunch, man, at Montego Bay, so that should be cool. Always good to catch up with him.
I don't know. Usually I have the bad memory, but man, I don't know. You remember nothing you had going on.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it. I guess I just didn't. I didn't notate it. Yeah. I knew I wasn't like not gonna show up. So
yeah. All right, guys. So we like to leave you in a positive. So today, we want to give you the quote of the day, and because I answered the exercise your knowledge question, I'll go ahead and let Bryan give you guys the quote of the day.
Cool. So the quote of the day is: the subconscious mind does exactly what the conscious mind tells it to do. So stay positive.
Yes.
Yeah. So even the it was in the Bible. I forget the verse in the Bible, but it talks about the subconscious. If you're thinking about it, I mean, that's just the same as the action of it. So you always want to make sure that you're constantly putting those positive thoughts, putting those positive affirmations in your brain, because, you know, as you do that in the subconscious, you know, the conscious and your habits will all, you know, happen in that manner. So yeah, I'm always like, even in situations and people around me, I have people who I know that I converse with, that it gets on their nerves of how optimistic I am when it comes to things, like, because they're like,
well,
hey,
one thing that I could think about in particular, I'm sorry to cut you off, is that situation with your processor the last week.
Oh
where,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You were like, I don't even think like that. Like, what was
Correct.
it?
Yeah,
It was...
yeah. She was so right now. I have a new underwriter. Underwriter is the person who reviews the file and approves it. So they're basically like, they have a real analytical way of looking at stuff. They cross every T, dot every I, and so they're the last line of defense before we issue the approval for the loan. And so I have a newer underwriter. I've been having her now for the last couple of months, and so she's been kind of getting on, you know, me and my processor's nerves just because of the way she goes about doing things, right? Like, me and my processor are pretty much on the same page, and she's like on a different book. So like, my processor was just asking, or I was submitting a file to get reviewed by the underwriter, and my processor was like, hey, what are you going to do if this doesn't happen, this doesn't happen, this doesn't happen? And everything was just like negative. And I'm like, well, I don't think like that. I don't think about like what I'm gonna do if this, like, all of these negative things. Like, I know I have a good loan, I have a good buyer, I have all everything documented properly. I mean, obviously, if something comes up, I will then think about it and figure it out and problem solve. But I don't think about all this. And she was, you know, so that's what Sophia is talking about, like, always just being on the positive. Like, if it's a situation where, even though you know the underwriter or somebody maybe not necessarily have the most positive or pessimistic outlook on things, you know, by you being positive about it, a lot of times things will swing your way and swing that direction.
Yeah. So, and see, me, yeah. I'm the person that I am like his processor. Like, I'm going to look at the positive. Yeah, great. But I want to know what I'm going to do if that doesn't work, right? Yeah. I like to be ahead of it. I don't like to be, you know, trying to solve things in the last hour, right? So it's just funny how when they were telling, we have meetings every day, and so he was telling the story, and when he was telling the story, he was just like, I don't think like that. I was like, you really don't. Like, it's just funny. Yeah. But always keep a positive subconscious, because then that reflects into your everyday thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time that we have for you guys today. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I am SKB_mortgage.
And I'm Bryan_Royster. That's Bryan with the Y_Royster.
All right. Thank you for listening to our podcast, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.